Hello everyone, and thank you for coming to the Willow Witch channel today. So we'll be doing a reading receiving love messages from the higher self of your future spouse. Of course, if you are currently married, this can be the higher self of your current spouse. If you're in a relationship and don't intend on being married, it can of course be just love messages from your person's higher self. So take it however it applies to you and your specific love situation. So we have 3 piles here. Pile number 1 has the Spiritsong Tarot along with the green Calcite. Pile number 2 has the Psychic Tarot of the Heart along with the Amazonite, and this is a palm stone. And then pile number 3 has the Dreams of Gaia Tarot, along with the Golden Healer Quartz. I'll give you some time to make your pile selection. As soon as you know, feel free to click on your timestamp, which will be below in the description box, and of course in a pinned comment as always. And we will do the pile preparation together here after I give you some quiet time. So if you want to hang out and watch the pile preparations, you are more than welcome to. Otherwise, I will see you in your reading or readings. Okay, so for those of you who are hanging out for the pile preparation, we'll go ahead and get started. So let's bring all of your crystals up to the top. Okay, so we'll start here with pile number 1. Beautiful Spiritsong Tarot. I got this on a recent road trip with my partner. We stopped in Roswell, New Mexico in the United States and found this deck in a really fun, very esoteric store with a lot of fun little odds and ends, and it very much, oh, just had a little ding, I might have to go get that in a second. It very much stood out to my partner first, actually, and then to myself, so it was pretty fun to grab this deck together. So we're pulling 4 cards from this deck, and then setting this aside, and we're actually going to be pulling clarifier cards for those 4 cards from a separate deck, which will then lay out in order underneath your main deck cards. So this clarifier deck is the Shadowscapes Tarot. If you've been watching my channel before, you've definitely seen me use it because it's one of my favorites. It's very well loved. I feel like this one too. Oh, you actually have 2, so we're just going to remember that these 2 both apply to that last card. I'm making myself a mental note right now. And then we will be pulling a oracle card for each pile, but I'll do that at the end, and we'll pull 1 for each pile here. So for pile number 2, this beautiful gold-sided Psychic Tarot of the Heart deck. I like how concise and clear the images in this deck are, especially for love readings. They're quite applicable and appropriate and usually have pretty clear messages that come through. So yep, and a lot of times I do find with that deck that the card pulling goes pretty quickly and easily, so that's always very nice. So for this pile, we'll be clarifying with this Tarot Mucha deck, another one of my very commonly used decks. I try not to be too aggressive with my shuffling just so that I don't bend the cards quite as much. They can be a little hard to display well on the screen if they get too convex. The kind of like light will shine on them in a strange way and they won't come through very easily on the camera. So I've learned that the hard way. All right. Lovely. And then for pile number 3 here, this beautiful Dreams of Gaia Tarot. I always get so many like downloads and just information kind of like coming all at once with this tarot. That's giving me a little trouble right now. Again, I'm trying really hard not to like bend these cards because I want to keep them nice, but it makes it hard to shuffle when the cards are really big. There we go. That's a good shuffle. Yeah, but these cards tend to like give a lot of information, which can be really helpful, but sometimes it can be a lot. Not in a bad way, but just like, reading that I'm like, oh, this is just going to be like a 2-minute reading for myself. Will turn into like a 20-minute reading before I know it. And yeah. All right, and then for this pile, we are clarifying with the Wildwood Tarot. There we go. Okay, and I am going to pause the video real quick. I'll be right back with the Oracle deck. I also just need to attend to that ding. I'll be right back. Okay, so we are back with the Whispers of Love Oracle. If you hear sighing, that is my dog. She's sleeping next to the desk here where I do these readings. She's got a cute little dog bed all of her own, so she's very comfy. All right, so we're going to ask for one oracle card for each reading. So for pile number 1, getting this top one here, and yeah, for pile number, okay, I'm getting 2 and 3. There we go. Perfect. All right, so go ahead and get these organized. I'm going to put the clarifiers underneath and then the oracle at the bottom. We'll take pile 2 and pile 3 aside for now. and then we'll get set up for pile number 1's reading. Okay, pile number 1, if you are just rejoining us, welcome back. So we'll get started with your reading today. You were drawn to this Spiritsong Tarot as well as the green Calcite, and we've also drawn a oracle card and some clarifier cards from a different tarot deck. So you have clarifier cards from the Shadowscapes Tarot deck here. Okay, so we'll go ahead and set out all of your cards. And again, of course, this is the love messages from the higher self of your future spouse reading. So your green calcite crystal, I'm going to set right over here just so that we have enough room to see everything today. So first we have your Spiritsong Tarot. And I'm just going to pull them out in the order that they were drawn. So these bottom cards came first. So far we have the 8 of Crystals, which is the 8 of Pentacles, the King of Feathers, which is the King of Wands, or no, sorry, that is the King of Swords. I always get confused in this deck because it's depicted as a lion for the King of Swords, which is very interesting. I think a lot of times we associate lions with that King of Wands kind of fiery energy, but in this deck it is the King of Swords. And then we have 5 of Shells, which is the 5 of Cups, and 4 of Crystals, which is the 4 of Pentacles. Okay, and then we have, to clarify the 8 of Pentacles, we have the Hierophant. To clarify the King of Swords, we have Judgment. To clarify the 5 of Cups, we have the Lovers. Wow, you're all major arcana so far as your clarifiers. Really interesting. And then we actually got 2 cards to clarify your last card here, the 4 of Pentacles. So we have the 10 of Wands and the Sun. I mean, wow, pile number 1. That's pretty incredible to have all major arcana except for 1, but you still have a major arcana clarifier for each card here in your reading. So pretty interesting. I feel like this is a big message. And I love that the Lover's card is centering your reading here under this 5 of Cups, which, just as a quick aside, I will reveal your oracle card here in just a moment, but I'm just getting the feeling that some of you might be worried about this 5 of Cups. I know that a lot of times in a lot of decks, the 5 of Cups can actually be a very hard card, and it can have kind of like a sad feeling to it. But in this deck, it's actually quite the opposite. The depiction here is of a firefly, like a lightning bug, and then the meaning words here at the bottom are hope and readjustment. So it's a very hopeful energy in this deck. So yeah. Okay. And then your oracle card is spiritual connection. A relationship has a connection that goes beyond this lifetime. And your number is 27 for this card. So that might have relevance to some of you. You might be 27, or maybe your person is, or maybe you're meeting when one of you is 27, or that could have a relationship to like a birth date, or a day of the month that you meet, or day of the month that's special to you. So just some different messages coming through. Okay, so let's take a look at all of your cards here now that they make a more complete picture. See what messages we're getting from the higher self of your future spouse. Well, I can see here that with the Hierophant coming out underneath this Eight of Pentacles, which the keywords here are dedication and progress. I can very much see that your future spouse's higher self wants you to know that no matter how this connection manifests or has already manifested on the physical 3D plane, there is always a intent to move this steadily and slowly forward towards this higher commitment, and in fact a very spiritual level of commitment here. This Hierophant card, to me, this little image here always at first glance looks like a ring, a wedding ring, but very interestingly also, if you look at it closely, it has some sort of four-legged animal on it, and it's making me think of this bison, or I'm not 100% sure, so correct me if I'm wrong. It could be like a water buffalo or a bison. But the energy that's coming through is a very strong, steady, methodical, logical, patient, never giving up type of presence in your life. And so it feels like this connection has been here with you for a long time already. Like there's already been kind of like headway made with your spiritual connection before you meet in the 3D in person, and that your souls, the message coming through is that your souls have been engaged long before you actually get like engaged on the physical plane here on Earth. With this, I keep getting drawn to this light here. I mean, you guys have the sun energy. You also have a sun in this Lovers card, but this fire, I almost wanted to say firebug, but this lightning bug or firefly, there's such a luminescence, a guiding light sort of feeling to your guys' connection. And I think what the higher self of your person here wants to convey with all of this light coming through is that, there may have been cause in the path, and yes, in the path of, I was going to say in the past, but I am getting in the path that you both have had to take. There may have been cause for the need of this light, and I feel like you've been able to sense this on some level, this light leading you on and being ahead of you even before you met this person or knew of their physical existence. You could almost see them sometimes, maybe in dreams, or you might have gotten just like when you get like you think you see something out of the corner of your eye, or you thought you saw something, you do a double take and it's not there, but it almost feels like it's on the edge of your vision. And I feel like for some of you, there may have been that with like a light at times when you maybe felt disconnected from believing in spirit, believing in somebody meant for you, believing that you would meet this person who just, gets you, is the one, has that deeper connection that kind of goes beyond being able to be verbally explained. It's that soul knowing. I feel like with this Judgment card here, there's very much a sense of like a call going out. I think that your higher self, excuse me, your higher self and your person's higher self have been communing This field of poppies here really makes me feel like it's during dreaming. So during the night, you may wake up and have almost a feeling of having just had like a long conversation with somebody, or having had, maybe having like been cuddling with somebody, or like, just having like a touch on your shoulder that felt comforting, something of that sort, like waking up from sleep and feeling like there was just a presence there with you that felt familiar and comforting and deeply connected and loving, and like somebody who just cared about you so much and has all the best intentions for you. And I feel like this is your little window to the connection that your higher selves have had, have currently, and have had for, who knows how long. Like, it may go back past lifetimes as well. Yeah. Blue butterflies could be a symbol for you. It could be a communication from the higher self of your future spouse. Almost like that light sort of message too. Like, they may appear when you need some encouragement, or they may appear just to let you know that, your future spouse is also thinking about you and hoping to meet you soon. Like, I kind of get that like sweet, like deep blue, like watery emotional feeling that appears when something like that is occurring between your souls, where you're kind of connecting on that level of like wanting to find each other. Yeah, definitely a message of hope here for this meeting. I mean, I do think that if you haven't met your future spouse yet, it really does feel like they're kind of like hovering in your energy. I was trying to see here if I could get a sense of timing for you. I'd say, if anything, I might draw a clarifier on this Four of Crystals card just for timing. I'm actually going to grab a completely different deck. I'll pull a quick clarifier and then we'll clear it away, just because it may be kind of an external message for some of you. It may not apply to all of you, but those of you who are having that, like, I'm getting a strong sense here of like, with all of these major arcana coming out, it's giving me the feeling that your soul is ready. Like, your higher self is telling you and speaking with the higher self of your person that you've reached a certain level here. I mean, the Lover's card is central, a central clarifier in your reading, and that makes me feel like this is like imminent for you. So I'm really curious to see what we might get if we just draw a quick clarifier. So hang tight. I'm going to pause the video and just grab a different deck. I'll be right back. Okay, so we have this really beautiful Journey of the Sacred Bee Tarot. I'm going to shuffle just down here so that we don't disturb your cards too much. Just give it one more quick shuffle, and then we'll pull some clarifier timing cards real quick. If we could just get an idea of timing for those who have not yet met their future spouse during this timeline. Okay, so your timing card's coming out. Yeah, Queen of Discs. I had a feeling we were going to get, oh wow, the Moon and Judgment. Okay, I had a feeling we were going to get a Court card. I feel like it's your corresponding energy here with this King of Swords, Queen of Pentacles. I feel like it's kind of representing the two of you, your energy. So it's telling me, it's a confirmation for me that this is when you'll meet. And so, you know, you could be represented, you could feel aligned with one of these energies or both of them. They both might represent aspects of yourself and your person, or one might resonate more with you and one might resonate more with your person's energy. So it's really just going to be a bit on a case-by-case basis, but these are complementary energies, court energies, and so even though they're not in the same suit, to me they're feeling like they're a pair. So yeah, so okay, so confirmation there that we are getting the answer that we're asking about. And then so we have the Moon and Judgment. Again, 2 major arcana. So just, you know, first of all, another confirmation that this is a major happening in your life, which of course meeting your future spouse is. But, you know, we of course can meet many different people, and some of them we marry, and, you know, sometimes those relationships are not, you know, they can serve different purposes, you know, whatever that might be. We won't go into too much detail, but I am feeling like this is very much a confirmation that when you meet this particular person that you're receiving a message from today, from their higher self, this is going to be absolutely life-changing. Like all of the major arcana, the 2 judgment cards, this is somebody that you absolutely have known in the past. Like you've had, I feel like, many past relationships with, you've come together in many different lifetimes. Yeah, I mean, there's just it's like such a powerful, resonant, like I keep getting drawn to this rippling out energy. I feel like your meeting is going to have like this ripple out energetic effect across your life, your person's life, people around you. Like I don't know if you guys are going to do something together in the world that's going to change the world, but that's the feeling that I get, that it's going to be like world changing when you meet in some way. And obviously, you know, this person is going to impact your life greatly by being your future spouse. And, you know, I feel like you guys are going to meet. I'm being drawn to the moon as like a full moon cycle. So I'm being guided to perhaps not this upcoming full moon, but the full moon after that. You guys might meet, you might actually meet in between the next 2 full moon cycles is what it's feeling like. Because it does feel like they're in your energy, like they're about to emerge, like a light's about to just turn on. And my dog is, yep, she just like gave a little like almost like waking up from sleep. So that's like a confirmation for me that yeah, it's going to be like an awakening. I mean, the Judgment card is often referred to as like an awakening type of card. So yeah, I'm also being drawn to the fact that we do have the Pisces symbol here on the moon card. It just keeps drawing my eye as well. So if it doesn't make sense for you to meet within the next 2 moon cycles, it might be more like Pisces season, which right now, if you're watching this while I'm doing this reading, we are in June, and Pisces season would be like the, you know, towards the end of February, around I think it's the 21st, to around the end of March, around the 21st or so. So that's a bit of a ways away. Yeah, and it may even be too that you guys meet within the next like 2 moon cycles, but there may not be a recognition or a beginning of your relationship, of your like romantic dating type of relationship until Pisces season might be a message that feels more relevant for some of you as well. And it may be too, if you guys already have met, like if you're friends, there may be a slow awakening to the fact that you have potential, you know, both of your higher selves are like, come on, wake up, like, you know, see this within each other. But of course, there's many reasons why we go through times where we're not quite ready to see certain things, right? Like we have lessons still to learn and we wouldn't be quite ready. We wouldn't appreciate what's in front of us until we've learned certain lessons. And that goes for your person as well. Definitely a message that's coming from their higher self. So we'll go ahead and put these cards away, but beautiful little extra tidbit of timing information there from those. So we'll get back to your main reading now. So interestingly, with this 10 of Wands coming out, and it's in the midst of all of these major arcanas, and it's also helping to clarify this 4 of Pentacles, where the keywords are control and security. So the message that's coming through from your future self's higher self with this card is that they are going to take this relationship so seriously. Like they, you know, the message that's coming through is if they haven't come into your life yet, it's because they wanted to make sure that they were ready to assume this responsibility for a lifelong commitment of this type of depth and magnitude. And they wanted to make sure that they could carry it, you know, that they were strong enough, that they were stable enough, that they were grounded enough. They seem like a very logical and self-controlled person who cares deeply for integrity and justice and doing the right thing. They seem to make really good decisions and live their life with a lot of intention. And so, you know, they want to make sure that when they when they begin a relationship on this 3D plane with you, that they do it right. Like from the get-go, they want to make sure that this has a really stable foundation. This 4 of Pentacles card can often represent building that stable foundation. 4 is a very balanced number. You know, it makes me think of like 4 legs on a table, 4 legs on a chair. Like, you know, if you only had 3, you'd have to be really careful and not kind of overbalance one way or the other. With 4, you know, you're pretty set, right? Like that's the ideal number of legs for a reason, right? So, yeah. And then, you know, with this Sun card coming out also under this 4 of Pentacles, you know, they're motivated to kind of have this self-control, build this type of security. Their entire motivation for that is they want to be a light in your life. Like their higher self is, I'm just getting like such a beaming, bright, glowing, like just radiating energy from their higher self, where they want to make sure that they bring this type of light, clarity, good communication, happiness, joy, purity, like honesty, integrity. I mean, just they want to be a light. They don't want to bring darkness into your light at any level. And so, you know, the timing of meeting them might also have a lot to do with making sure that you both are ready for this type of relationship, you know, that you're not still entangled with other energies. And if you are, you know, there may be a delay from when you meet them till when you actually can start dating. But they want to go about this in the most like respectful, they really want to make sure that you both feel extremely good about your meeting, your entire like dating or like courting is coming through. So they might court you, or vice versa, or you both might court each other. But they want to make sure that you and they both feel really good, really clear, really clean, really proud of the entire process, from meeting to dating to deepening your relationship to commitment to marriage and beyond, right? So yeah, there's definitely, I mean, there's somebody really, I get like this message that there's somebody you'd want to have in your court, like that's somebody that you want to have around you, rooting for you, supporting you, having your back. Like there's somebody that you can absolutely trust, like no question about it. I mean, the King of Swords is a very trustworthy card. All of these major arcana are absolutely beautiful. There's like really there's nothing questionable or hard or difficult about any of this energy whatsoever. I mean, this Ten of Wands can sometimes have a, like an overburden message to them. So if there's anything at all that the higher self of your future spouse is saying that's, maybe to be worked on, it's that, your future spouse may be a person who does have a tendency to take on a lot of things. But it's because they care. It's because they deeply, I don't feel that they overextend themselves. It really matters a lot to them that they only take on what they can truly give. They can show up in a way that they can be proud of, and if they do at any time take on more than they can, feel good about. And I just saw 3737, so I feel like that is a significant number for somebody here. But if they do ever take on something that they feel was too much, they're very respectful and good at communicating and figuring out a different option that, whether they can like split the responsibilities with somebody else who can do just as good of a job, or they can, do it on a different timeline, or, in a slightly different order, or whatever it might be, just to make sure that they still hold up their end of the bargain, but that they don't, burn the candle at both ends, basically, right? Like over tire themselves so that then they become depleted. I think they're actually quite a balanced person, very mature. And of course, this is the higher self of your future spouse that we're talking to. So the higher self is, very developed, very mature, right? Like they're the higher self. So this may also be a bit of a window and a vision into what your future spouse will become. So if you meet them and they're not this evolved, never fear. They are headed that way, and they have this within them. A lot of times we meet people on our path, right? Like it's very rare that we meet at like the end of our journey. And in fact, the journey is usually never actually over. There's always more growing and learning and maturing, fine-tuning, all of the things to do. And we get to do a lot of that together, which is a huge blessing. Seeing somebody beloved to you grow and learn and make mistakes and become a person that's more aligned with who they want to be, through learning from hard times, is a blessing to do and to witness along with them. And so I do feel very strongly that you two will be doing this together, but that overall, I feel like that your life together is just going to be not only built on this foundation of joy and happiness, but I see that sustaining. I see that being a goal that the two of you will light together and never let go out. Something that you'll always come back to, you'll always find your way back to, even if it's dark at times. Even if the outside world is hard, you'll always come back to this light together of being a source for each other of happiness, comfort, stability, justice, being in each other's court, like being each other's confidant and each other's cheerleader and each other's best friend, right? Very much get that message from your future spouse's higher self. And I just want to show this card again. So this spiritual connection card, I keep looking at it throughout this reading and, seeing these two people dancing together. They're like, it's a really beautiful montage of, there's these different paths. There's this stairway that goes up. It looks like this couple is on this little beach. There's some, I believe there are palm trees in the background here, and you can see a person here and a person here looking at each other, and they're connected by what kind of looks like this path, but it goes from both of their third eyes. So, and she's this person here is like part of this mountain, and this person is coming out of like this water and part of this tree, and they're holding hands like this. There's just so much in this card here that I feel like, your higher selves are constantly in communication, and there may be a long winding path to find each other, but you've never lost the connection to each other along the way. And I feel like this is like, I feel like it's a little glimmer of your future. I feel like you might be, the type of couple who just like spontaneously dances in the street at times. Like you light each other up. Like you find this spontaneous, impulsive joy together. And the message that's coming through is that your future spouse can't wait to get to this moment with you. Like this is like almost feels like a postcard in their mind, and it's as if they've gotten like a little snapshot of the future, almost from a past life connection, and they're looking for that in this lifetime. And so I almost feel like this like moment in time when you guys dance in the street together, or dance on a beach, or dance in a ballroom, like whatever it might be, you're gonna have this moment where you just that like cements your connection, and you have this like moment of recognition that like, oh, it's been you, like you've been this light guiding me, and I've always known I would find my way back to you. Yeah, so really beautiful message. I think that's all I have for you today, pile one. So I am going to end the reading just by talking briefly about your crystal here. So this is the green calcite. It is a beautiful crystal that relates to the heart chakra. And I'm just going to do I'm going to read a little bit of information that I have, just because I've taken some notes, and I just want to make sure that I cover everything here for you. So it helps us to believe that good things are possible and that our future can be better than our past. Helps us to view the world with greater compassion for all beings, including ourselves. And it shows us the great humor, dignity, tragedy, and beauty of the human experience, and encourages us to look deeply without fear or shame. It shows us how we can make a positive difference in the world, and speeds up our own spiritual development. Also, it does encourage us to spend some time in nature and to learn from plants and animals and their deep connected wisdom. I feel like this is something that your person likes to do as well, so it's something that you may end up doing together after you meet. And then it also helps us to remember that there are times for busy activity and also times for slow relaxation, and that both are necessary for our health and well-being. And I feel like this is a message that your future spouse, when your higher selves are in alignment with each other, you're going to help each other to be balanced and to have a good balance of both relaxation and productivity. Times when you work hard and times when you really appreciate and like revel in that rest together. So, okay, pile number 1, I really loved doing this reading for you today. Thank you so much for watching and for sharing in this really, really beautiful energy. Yeah, I just almost don't even want to leave because it's just like so beautiful. I love these cards, how they look together, and just the feeling coming off of them is just like glowing and happy. So, all right, well, I will go ahead and end it though. Anyways, so I hope that you'll come back again and watch another reading. Thank you to everybody who's been liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. All of you are helping this channel to grow, and I really appreciate your generous and very positive energy that you've been contributing. So very much thank you, and I invite anyone to comment, like, share, subscribe if you haven't already, and yeah, I hope to see you again in a future reading. All right, bye, pile number 1. So if you're going to hang out in between readings, we're just going to get cleaned up here from pile 1. Just going to set these aside and I'll shuffle them back into their respective decks later. Okay, pile number 2. If you're just rejoining us, welcome back. Welcome to your reading today. And of course, you were drawn to the Psychic Tarot of the Heart and the the Amazonite's Palm Stone. I have Aventurine here, and it's a very similar color, so I wanted to say Aventurine. So you might be drawn to the Aventurine too, but this is the Amazonite Palm Stone, so it is also kind of used sometimes as like a calming, meditative stone to hold in your palm and to touch. So getting kind of a feeling already that this is the energy coming off of your future spouse's higher self, a very calming, like, if you have anxiety or just have, an anxious moment, they're going to be, your future spouse is going to have almost this like balm to your soul, where even just being in their presence or calling them up on the phone, as soon as you hear their voice or look into their eyes or just enter the same space as them physically, you're going to feel your whole body and your mind just relax, as if you could just like sigh and just, okay, shoulders drop, able to breathe deeply. Like that's kind of the feeling and the energy coming off of this reading already. The energy coming from your future spouse's higher self. So we're going to go ahead and set your crystal just right over here to make room for everything. So we've pre-shuffled and prepared 2 sets of tarot cards. So these are your main tarot cards, and then these will be clarifying. So this is the Tarot Mucha, and then we have 1 oracle card as well. So I will reveal these in the order that they were drawn. So from the bottom of this little stack first. Wow. So we have the lead card in this deck, which is the Emperor. Refusing to see. So this is the 2 of Swords. Very interesting. I'm getting a quick message here, and we'll see what else we get, but getting a quick message here that there may be some of you who've already met your future spouse, and either you or they or both of you just haven't realized yet that that's your person, or maybe you're frustrated because you see it and they don't, something like that. That might just be a message for a few of you. Oh wow, 3 of Cups, share the love. Yeah, so this won't be in your guys' way for too much longer. And 5, challenging times. Yeah, so this is the 5 of Wands. So this is somebody actually striving for and pushing through something that may be challenging, but seeing it as worthy of persisting for. Okay, and then we have your clarifying cards for your tarot. So the 3 of Wands is clarifying the Emperor. The Hermit card, is clarifying the 2 of Swords. That makes a lot of sense. The 7 of Cups is clarifying the 3 of Cups. And the 7 of Pentacles is clarifying the 5 of Wands. So 7-7 might be a significant number pairing for some of you. Interesting. And simple acts of kindness, which is also a 5. And the words down here, this is such a cute, like almost like Bambi, like really sweet forest scene here. Yeah, I feel like you're, again, just that like gentle soul energy coming through from your future spouse's higher self. You know, they might have like a tough exterior at times, especially with this Emperor card showing up first. But I feel like inside they're just like so sweet, so giving, so caring. They have such a gentle heart. They really have a soft spot for like baby animals and yeah, just like they're gonna do things for you that are just you're gonna see that they're such a romantic, caring person at heart. And it might be something that they don't show to like any other people. You know, there's no other people in this card, right? So like, I feel like eventually they'll show it to you. But you might be one of the few people in their life that they ever show this like really, really soft, gentle side of them. But so your card down here says, kindness energizes you and brings happiness to those around you. Yeah. So they may be one of those people who, you know, one of their love languages is acts of service. I'm actually going to put your, give me just a second. I'm going to do a little rearranging. I'll be right back. Okay, there we go, pile 2. So that feels a little bit better. Got more space for all of the cards here. So yeah, so with this refusing to see coming out right over the Hermit card, I do get the message that your future spouse's higher self is essentially sending you the message of asking you to be patient. They may be somebody who's very stoic on the outside, and I do feel like they've had to almost gain this hardened shell, this hardened persona, because they have such a kind, soft heart that maybe growing up was really difficult for them. They may have gotten picked on for being really sensitive. You know, they may have like cried easily if they saw like a hurt animal, or even like a picture or a story about like a hurt animal or something like that. I'm getting for some of them, they watched Bambi as a young child and just bawled their little eyes out, and like maybe their family was kind of mean to them about it, or like one of their friends or something like that. And, you know, just like a bunch of little things that happened because they're such a sensitive person. They've had to kind of almost put on this like helmet of this like hardened exterior, you know, strong, tough persona, very stoic, you know, really control, like, if they cry easily, they kind of had to lock that down. Yeah, which is, it's really sad. And I think that your higher self, your higher self for sure, but also like the higher self of your future spouse understands that this isn't necessarily ideal, right? Like now that they're an adult, yes, the world is still can be a very cruel place, but it's, it's different when you're an adult as opposed to when you're a child, right? And so I think that there's already been a little bit of insight happening here on their part, where they're kind of being led forward by their higher self to realize and get past this refusing to see, to realize that in order to make a significant connection with you, whether you've already met or you have yet to meet in the future, but to make this connection that they truly like deep within them, like they have this knowing. I feel like as soon as they meet you, they're able to see into this future together. It's almost as if they're looking out and they see this ship coming in, and they're like, that's the one, that's my destiny, that's my future. They're being called to be the strong leader in this, and so they're starting to really understand that they're going to need to extend their heart to you. Like there's no other way. How can you make a heart to heart connection if somebody's heart is closed off, right? And so this is something that they either have realized and are working towards, or they will be realizing and will be working towards. There's definitely some confusion here on their part of how to do this. They might have kind of like all these different ideas or interpretations of how they could extend their heart towards you. They might also have all these kind of fears about how it's going to be received, right? A lot of times if we've had trauma around being vulnerable, we can have a lot of triggering thoughts or feelings, when we try to be vulnerable. But I do feel like they're going to push through it. Like this Five of Wands coming out here, especially over the Seven of Pentacles being the clarifier, like they're going to sure and steady keep working on this, keep fighting for this. They're not one to actually like shy away from a challenge. So even if that challenge is almost like self-imposed, where they're having to overcome one of their own kind of like hang-ups or hiccups or just triggers, or long practiced habits that are now something they want to change, like they're not going to give up. They're going to keep fighting for this. They know it's right. They know it's necessary, and it's what they want. Like they truly want to connect with you in a way that's like this is this is representing the divine masculine, the emperor here. So whatever gender or non-binary, of course, too, or agender, but however you and your person identify, I do feel like they, in this connection, their higher self is guiding them to kind of step up into this leadership, divine masculine type of role. So even if I don't want to like be disrespectful to anybody's gender identity or gender identity of their person here. So please just take this message how it resonates. Strip the gender away or change the gender for how it resonates with you. So this is, just trying to communicate the like the energy feel of this here. And unfortunately our vocabulary is very limited in some ways when talking about like energy and spiritual things. So, divine masculine, like the way that comes across to me is somebody who they're leaning into the side of you know, stepping into that, like, person who, wow, I'm really having trouble explaining this. So let me just take a moment and see what their higher self, I feel like we don't want to get this wrong. So let me just touch back in with that energy and make sure I'm communicating clearly here. Okay, very interesting. So the message that's actually coming through, and I think why I was like having trouble explaining the concept of divine masculine, is that they actually want to like redefine what a divine masculine is in a partnership. So whether that's like them identifying as that, you identifying as that, you know, both of you having elements of it, right? Because there can always be mirroring. And we all have both masculine and feminine energies within us. But they want to like redefine what that means. So they want to be able to be, you know, masculine doesn't have to mean like not gentle, not sensitive, you know, not somebody who cries at sad movies, like not someone who gets emotional over like small acts of kindness. Like, you know, I mean, that can all be very much in alignment with somebody who identifies as masculine. Like that is okay. Like that we do need to change our thinking and our vocabulary around like what is masculine, right? And so, yeah, I mean, I feel like when your person comes into your life, whether this has already happened or it is to be happening, you're gonna see such a, like, I feel like you're gonna see into them from the get-go, and you're gonna be able to see almost like these two people within them, you know, one that's kind of a little more hidden, a little more in the shadows currently, and one that's like a little more obvious to the, you know, general eye or general public. But you're going to be able to understand them in all of their aspects. And I feel like it's going to be one of the things that draws you in and really interests you about them, because you're going to see almost this duality of their energy, you know, the person that maybe they truly are, that, you know, they are at their core, that they were born as, that they, you know, grew up as a little child, and then the kind of almost persona that they've put together, that they've carefully cultivated and, you know, do put on very, very well, and it's gotten them very, very far. I feel like they're quite a accomplished, knowledgeable, well-respected person. And I think that with your relationship together, one of the things that your future self's higher self is kind of like here, like cheering you guys on for like meeting and working together as a couple, is that the both of you are going to help each other heal. And one of the ways you're going to help your future spouse heal is by bringing these two sides of themselves back together and like blending that energy into one beautiful persona that is authentic and strong, sensitive, and able to keep themselves safe. And, you know, they can choose when to be as sensitive as they want with safe people, and then in other circumstances they can choose to not necessarily present that sensitive side of themselves. Like, I feel like you're going to help them to get this sense of balance and control and mastery over their own self in a way that they, you know, they didn't know how to do as a child. And perhaps they've always thought that they had to be kind of this persona in order to be in a relationship like yours, or be loved by someone like you. And I think you're going to prove them wrong in that, and it's going to be really beautiful. So yeah, I do feel like their love language is very much like acts of service, and I think that you both are going to help each other grow, like in so many different ways. I just see so much of like a clear progression and clear growth here. and your higher selves are definitely like behind the scenes, just like shining down on both of you, like, come on, like, you know, extend this gift to each other, like start on this healing journey. Like we want to see what you guys can accomplish. You know, I feel like you guys will be very like slow and steady wins the race type of couple as well. Like, yeah, you're really gonna, it's gonna be this exciting like adventure. You're both gonna just see so much growth over the times with each other. So that's really, really beautiful. Okay, pile number 2. I think this is all the messages I have from your cards. I do want to go ahead and talk about your crystal just a little bit. So I have some information. I just kind of want to like read out a little bit of notes to you about this beautiful Amazonite crystal. So this is actually a stone of courage. They say that it shatters the lie of victim mentality. It empowers us to be the master of our own fate and reminds us that we have the power to do great things. Helps us to heal from past pain, and we can use it as fuel to move us forward into a healthier and happier future. Reminds us of who we truly are, very appropriate to this message here, and helps us to move beyond our fears of judgment or failure. Encourages us to cultivate balance, and it also encourages us to check in with ourselves and see if our thoughts and actions are in alignment with our true values. And if they're out of alignment, then this crystal can help us to make the appropriate changes so that we live in a way that matches our noble spirit. This stone celebrates also the feminine aspects of courage, strength, and power. So I feel like there's a message coming through there too of like also redefining what it means to be divine feminine, right? So I feel like you guys will be redefining divine feminine, divine masculine together, if that's something that, you know, you're drawn to, of course. And of course this stone has an emphasis on where it's like it's like known as the stone of the Amazons. And so it also encourages us to fight for equality in rights and opportunities. So I feel like you guys together as a couple, you're going to be redefining, you know, what it means to, it's almost like if, you know, either of you grew up kind of witnessing traditional gender roles play out and, you know, knew from an early age that like you didn't want that in your future relationship, your future spouse is going to be on the same page with you in those regards, and you guys are going to work together to redefine what it means to be a couple and how you want your roles to be and how you want the balance to be in your energies, and just your entire dynamic is going to be something that you'll get to grow together in a way that's very like special to witness and to behold. I think that you guys will be a guiding light for others in this journey as well, and I think you're going to find other people along the way who share these values as well, and you're going to like find your like little soul family, you know, that you can all kind of like revolutionize these types of love connections. And yeah, it's very needed. So thank you for your good work. I do think that Amazonite might be a good crystal for you to, you know, either get some if you're able to, and keep it near you. If you can get like a palm stone, I just, you know, I think that this is such a nice way to like meditate and kind of re-center with that courageous energy. I feel like that's gonna be really helpful. I feel like with this hand holding this crystal, it's almost like that advice to like have something that you could physically, tangibly touch and hold in order to ground in with this energy as you kind of go through this process, you know, before you meet your person and once you've met them, and then while you're with them as well. Okay. All right, pile 2. So thank you so much for sharing your beautiful energy here today. I really enjoyed doing this reading for you. Such a light, such a beautiful, gentle, calm energy coming from the higher self of your future spouse. So thank you both for sharing your energy with me here, and I can't wait to do a future reading for you. I definitely invite you to like, share, comment, subscribe. Thank you so much to everybody who's already shared your beautiful, positive energy with me and with this channel. You're helping me to keep going on doing these readings that I love so much. So I really appreciate all of the generosity. And yeah, all right. Well, have a good rest of your day or night wherever you're at. And I hope to see you again in a future reading, pile 2. Take care. All right, so if you are hanging out for the transition time between readings, we're just going to gather up these cards. I will shuffle them back into their respective decks a little bit later. And then we'll get set up here for pile number 3. All right, pile number 3. If you are just rejoining us, thank you so much for coming to your reading and welcome back. So this reading, of course, is love messages from the higher self of your future spouse. And you were drawn to this beautiful golden healer quartz. It has little iridescent inclusions in it, like little rainbowy inclusions. They don't always show up very well on the camera, unfortunately, and it is starting to get just a little bit darker here. The sun's starting to go down, so I don't have as much natural light as I would like. But if you can imagine it, there are little iridescent rainbowy inclusions a couple different places inside this crystal. So I feel like that's relevant for your reading for some reason. So I think that maybe the message will come out again later. But we'll go ahead and look at your cards. So this will be your oracle card. We're going to look at your main tarot cards, and then I did pull clarifier cards for your tarot as well. So we have the, oh, really interesting. Yeah, the 6 of air. Sorry, I just was struck by the rainbow. So yeah, definitely some iridescent-y kind of rainbow energy coming through for your pile. And the black and white contrast here is really interesting too. I almost feel like after meeting your person, it's gonna feel like you went from like dark to light, very transformative experience is the message coming through. The King of Earth, just the King of Pentacles. And this is the 9 of air. So those are swords. So we have the 6 of swords and the 9 of swords. And perception. So this is actually the World card. It's card number 21. But in this deck, it is called Perception. And I apologize that we have a little more glare on these cards because it is dusk. This reading took me a little longer to get to today than I had hoped, but still wanted to get it done for you. 2 of arrows, injustice. This is the 2 of swords. The Four of Arrows, rest. So that's the Four of Swords. The Five of Bows, empowerment. So that's the Five of Wands. And the Three of Arrows, jealousy. So that's the Three of Swords. All right, and then let's take a look at your oracle card here. Wow, you guys have the card that's on the cover, the I love you card. These are powerful words. Wow. Yeah, I mean, I can feel the power coming off of your cards here and coming from, I mean, the power that your future spouse's higher self holds is like no joke. Like, this is somebody. All right, so I'm getting some kind of like channeled messages, so I'm just gonna go ahead and speak them. So this is somebody, the higher self of your future spouse wants you to know that your future spouse is somebody who's literally walked over burning coals to get to you. Like, they have come through trials and tribulations that it would hurt to know that they've been through. They will share them with you if and when you're ready, but it's something that a lesser person honestly could have died from going through. Like, there's incredible strength that's born from suffering here in your person's energy. And if this isn't something that they've gone through in this lifetime, then we're getting a little glimpse into the evolution that your person's higher self has gone through from past lifetimes of incredible suffering and grief and loss and terror and sorrow, injustice. Yeah. And the message that I get from their connection with you is that your higher selves together, getting this like butterfly flying over here to this person who's at rest, laying between these arrows. Underneath this, it's clarifying the King of Pentacles here, which feels very much like your future spouse's higher self coming through. I feel that when your higher selves are together, they're able to be at peace. It's like all of their wounds vanish and they're able to just rest and rejuvenate, almost like be reborn, like out of this like cocoon. Suddenly they feel like they are this beautiful butterfly. I think I was listening to, I think it was the Moon Magic. I don't remember. Oh no, it was actually a book. I apologize. It was actually a book that I was listening to about it. It was actually a book about writing thank you letters and about practicing gratitude. And what I'm getting as far as the relevance here is that the author talked about how she found out that what happens inside a cocoon when a caterpillar is ready to metamorphose, to go through that metamorphosis to become a butterfly, is that they literally turn to liquid. They liquefy themselves. And then their bodies completely reform into this butterfly that has wings and is able to fly. And they do, even though they become essentially a different creature, they actually, it's been proven that they do retain some memories from their past life and some lessons that they've learned from their past life as a caterpillar. And so the message that's coming through here is that through your relationship, whether you guys have yet to meet or have already met, the feeling that you'll have together is that almost this same feeling that the caterpillar goes through, that even though your person, yeah, this is their higher self is explaining this. So how they're going to feel is that even though they remember their life before where they were this caterpillar, just fighting to survive, bound to the earth, unable to fly, that once they've met you and grown these wings, transformed into this magnificent butterfly, they're going to become like a whole new person, and they will still retain those lessons and that knowledge and those memories of their past life, but they're not going to feel like they're that caterpillar anymore. And it's not like this is necessarily going to be an overnight transition, right? Like you guys might have to be in the soup together for some time and go through some healing. I mean, they may do this before they come to you as well, but I feel like I get the feeling that when you guys first really get into the thick of things in your relationship, when you start to realize that this is your person and that you're developing and growing this love for them, that you guys are going to like cocoon together, and that there's going to be almost this transformation, this liquefaction. I don't think I'm saying that right, but like this liquefying of any past pains and hurts and traumas, and you guys are gonna together through like the force of your love, almost just like burn that all up and melt it down and reform it into something beautiful, something beautiful that becomes your relationship together, and also gives both of you, the feeling of being this born anew butterfly with wings that can fly and is, gorgeous to behold. Yeah. Give me a moment. I'm gonna grab some water really quick. I will be right back, pile 3. Okay, pile 3, sorry about the interruption. You'll notice that the light is different. It actually is the next morning, so everything that happens in a reading, I'm sure you've heard other tarot readers here on YouTube talk about this as well, but I also firmly hold the belief that everything that happens in a reading happens for a reason. And so I got pulled away from your reading, and we have a little interruption here with my cat. She doesn't make an appearance very often, but when she does, it's very cute. So yeah, really interesting. So what I was starting to say is I got pulled away, and by the time I could make it back, it was already so dark that I really couldn't do the reading. And I prefer to only read with natural light, since I don't use candles. I don't, just like the smoke and the scent doesn't work for me. And so I only read in natural light rather than artificial. And so it was just too dark to do the reading, and I decided to wait until the next morning to complete your reading. So here we are back, and I'm really being drawn to kind of this symbolism of this almost night to day card, and with the rainbow in between. And I know we were just talking about the transformation that you both are going to go through, and I feel like there's such a strong transformation message here that it almost the energy of it came into my life as well, with having to go from I'm just trying to get it to focus a little better here, with having to go from starting your reading at night and going into the next day. You guys together, your higher selves, there's just going to be a huge transformation, and the feeling that comes through is actually quite simple here. it's through this power of this love. I mean, I don't think it's going to be like anything either of you have ever encountered in this lifetime. And, you know, I definitely get the message that there may have been some perceptions here, maybe on both of your ends, but in particular, I'm being drawn to the feeling coming through the higher self of your future spouse is that there has been a perception on their side that, love equals pain, love equals wounding, love equals, difficult emotions like jealousy or enmeshment or codependency, whatever it might be that they have associated, whether by seeing that shown to them maybe in their family of origin or in a past relationship that they've had or other past relationships that they've witnessed in like their close friends or family. You may also have come from a background where you were shown these, negative sides of people being together in relationships and, not maybe having the unconditional love aspect that I feel like both of you, through your unconditional love for each other, it catalyzes this incredible transformation, not only within your own, spiritual selves, but also in your external life. There's a lot of earth feeling here of changes happening in the physical world, being drawn to this figure drawn on this hill here, and I'm not going to remember the name, but it's a famous, if I remember correctly, it's somewhere in like Ireland or the UK somewhere. It's really famous, and it's something that like appeared and nobody has an explanation for how it got there or why. And, one of those things where it's just a phenomenon like a crop circle, which are super fascinating as an aside. If you haven't looked into the studies that have been done on crop circles, if you look into those studies and read about it, it will make you believe in some incredible phenomena going on that we just don't have the brains that can understand it or perceive what's happening. But anyway, so back to this, I feel like there's going to be sudden, unexplainable changes in your physical surroundings. So like, some examples that come to mind to make this concept a little more concrete as examples would be like, if you've always had trouble with a neighbor, and you never thought that they would move, suddenly they move, or they suddenly seem to change into a different person overnight, and suddenly they're like friendly. My cat is like very involved in our reading today, which is quite unusual for her. Oakland, come here. Come on. Maybe, all of a sudden, like, your pets will start acting differently, or, something like this, right? Like a cat's gonna show up on your doorstep, and maybe you never thought that the person that you're with, your future spouse, like maybe they were always like, oh, I don't really like cats or something like that, and this cat shows up one day and kind of adopts you guys, and suddenly, a few weeks later or a few months later, you happen upon your partner like cuddling with the cat, and you're just like, what? How did this happen? Just like, those are kind of silly examples, but to just capture that essence of like things in your physical world around you and around the two of you are just going to start like perceptibly but unexplainably changing for the better. I think that things are going to start to feel like it's almost like good karma is coming in a tangible form into both of your lives once you both essentially fall into this love relationship with each other. And it's going to really change your perception of the world as well as theirs, right? It's like almost like this was, like designed in order to, maybe both of you have gone through things that kind of left like a bitter taste in your mouths. And now all of a sudden it's like the earth is a friendly place and people smile at you on the street for no reason and, give you things for free. Like people buy your coffee and you're just like walking around and you're like, what? Is this the same earth that I lived on like last week? Like it's a completely transformed new place. And yeah, I mean, I think you guys are both going to be kind of ascending in that vibe that you give off. And, it's life-changing, right? Like you give off this vibe of like glowing and being in love and like being in love with the world, not just in love with your person, but it like you can't help but just be in love with life again, just the way you were when you were like a little child and just everything was new and cool and amazing and you just embraced change and you embraced challenges, like whatever it might be. And if you weren't that kind of child, then this is like a whole new experience for you, I'm getting too. So yeah, and it's infectious. Like people just can't help but like love the energy that you're giving off and want to be around you and want to like give you things. So yeah. Okay, well, I think that's all the messages I have coming through from your cards, pile 3, but I do want to talk just a little bit about your Golden Healer Quartz here. I actually have a little like informational sheet that I got when I found this quartz and purchased it from a really, really beautiful crystal shop in New Mexico. And I think I should be able to get the little iridescence to show now if I can. Oh, I need to change my camera focus. One moment. Ah, there we go. So let's see if we can get that little iridescence to show for you guys if you haven't seen it before in these beautiful hematite quartz crystals. There we go. I think that might show up on the camera if we can get it to focus in. Well, I think you can kind of see the little iridescence. Oh yeah, there we go. All right, well that was long and drawn out. I apologize, but I really wanted you guys to be able to see what I was talking about there. But anyways, so with this Golden Healer Quartz, the emotional, mental, and metaphysical benefits of it are listed that you, through this quartz, you actually access the golden ray, which is the highest vibration of light, and it raises one's personal vibration. So I feel like that's very appropriate for what's going to happen when the two of you and your future spouse are together and are transforming through this love that you have. So it amplifies and facilitates spiritual communications, balances yin and yang energies. It's beneficial for multidimensional healing. It calms your mind, giving you clarity with your perception and your decision-making. Perception. It's a catalyst for deeper spiritual activation because it allows the golden light of the universal life force to flow into your body from the crown chakra. It also dissolves and releases negative energies and blockages. It's an efficient receptor for programming. It enhances joy, peace, and the spirit of oneness. It's good for protection and grounding by diverting negative energies and clearing blockages. It heals your wounds from past and present lives, which I feel is very, very relevant here. It helps you to release negativity and darkness that surrounds you, including any imbalances in your personality. Helps you to find your direction in life. And with work, it helps you to attain financial goals, bring more career success, prosperity, abundance, and also luck in life. It also helps to overcome trust issues, increases your self-confidence, boosts your creativity. It raises your personal energetic vibrations to very high levels and helps you in discovering your true self, improving your happiness and joy. Opens your awareness to obtain guidance and information from the higher dimensions for your highest good. It releases insecurities, releases unhealthy feelings and fears, helps you to overcome shyness, anxiety, and panic attacks, and it helps you to resonate with the journey of your soul and towards understanding of your life purpose, strengthens your self-respect, and then there's advice that you can use this stone, this crystal, during meditation in order to connect with source energy. Okay, so I know that was a little long. I am going to hold up this information sheet here because I just think it's so informative. So if you want to take a screenshot of that, please feel free. And if you're drawn to this quartz, I feel like it could be very, very helpful for you to kind of hang on to help you align with this energy. I am getting the nod kind of from your future spouse's higher self that having this crystal around is going to help pull in that loving energy between you two. Okay, so yeah, really beautiful. All right, pile number 3, thank you so much for riding this a slightly rocky wave of this reading with me, but we got through it. Yeah, again, just this is an incredibly powerful, transformative type of connection. So much respect to you and to your future spouse and their higher self. Thank you to all beings who help to contribute to this reading here. I just want to send that kind of like nod because there was definitely a lot of help coming in. And thank you to all of you who came and watched this reading today and stayed till the end. I'm impressed. I know it was a little painful at times, but yeah, I can't wait to read again for you in the future. And if you feel so inclined, I would love to, have any feedback in the form of comments, likes, shares, subscribing. And thank you so much to everybody who's already shared your beautiful, positive, wise energy with the channel, and everyone who's been so generous by liking and subscribing and sharing as well. I thank you very much. So, all right, pile number 3, I will leave it here. I hope you have a wonderful day or night wherever you're at in the world, and I can't wait to do another reading for you in the future. All right, take care. Bye-bye.